Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to TheSoundTV. Today, we've got a video for you on the Kiwi Ears Canta. Oh, I really like this IEM and I just love the way it looks. But before we get started, I gotta let you know, full disclosure, Kiwi Ears did send out this IEM for review. But as always, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna let you know my experiences listening to them, not only in music, but also in gaming. Now, during the unboxing, I'm seeing this beautiful, aesthetically pleasing black IEM. And now I've been reviewing IEMs for some time. I've been very fortunate, but you know, nothing wrong with it. Some of the colors are a little bit all over the place. Hey, manufacturers, I respect it. I get it. I love it. Nothing wrong with it. But you know, your boy loves the all black look. So the Canta definitely hit the mark. I haven't had an all black IEM in some time. The last IEM I had that was all black was the Kiwi Hexa. So it's kind of nice to kind of get back to those roots. I love an all black IEM. And really what Kiwi Ears is doing here is giving us a hybrid configuration. And really what it is one single dynamic driver, all right, that kind of takes care of the bass, and then two planar drivers. The mids, the trebles kind of sit there. All right. So in total, we're looking at 6 drivers. Now that's kind of cool, right? Because basically what the manufacturer can do here is kind of lock in on what it is exactly where they want their focus to be. And that can impact music, different genres or different applications such as gaming to kind of feel different, right? Certain things might feel or sound a bit different, but it just really depends on how it is that they configure that and what is their focus, what it is their intent. That's something that I always kind of try to look at when I look at these IEMs. Really, what is the manufacturer trying to do? What is the company trying to do? What are they trying to target? And that's always my approach, right? Of course, this channel is really based on gaming and my love for music, but as I've discussed in the past, every IEM, every configuration is different. So I always try to look at it with, you know, an open mind. What are they trying to accomplish? Where does it work? When it doesn't work? And just kind of bring that to you. Now, listening to this, the first thing that jumps out at me is the treble. All right. Kiwi Ears was definitely letting you know, hey, treble. All right. Because they really are very strong. They're very forward. They're very sparkly. All right. And they kind of walk that fine line of being a little too much at times, especially at different volumes. But if you're someone who loves treble, forward sound signatures or IEMs, you're definitely going to like this because between female and male, you get that clarity, that dynamic range that you want, that nice little sparkle. And for some like myself who is very treble sensitive, these have a very bright sound signature. All right. So just depending on the volume and depending on the application, you got to be very conscious of that because it will vary. Now, when I have these at a nice volume level, which everyone's different, it can vary depending on how you have them connected, what your source is. I typically feel like, you know, I get a nice little dynamic range. Everything feels good. The music, the instruments, the bass, the mids, everything's kind of sitting where I feel comfortable. But the moment you start cranking that volume up, that's when everything kind of starts shifting. So you got to be very aware of that. These do remind me of the Kiwi Hexas where they did feel a little bit hot and sparkly sometimes for me as someone who's very treble sensitive. So with that, you really got to be extremely careful because it can be fatiguing after long hours, depending on the application. So again, hey, you love treble, you love forward IEMs that really emphasize on that treble and are really targeting vocals, this is the IEM for you. Now the mids are very interesting in this IEM because there's resolution, there's detail, there's sound stage. You get a little bit of that airy type of feeling. But hand in hand with the treble, sometimes the treble can feel a little overwhelming, which then in return kind of feels like the mids are kind of holding back or kind of maybe sometimes even fighting to kind of be heard, right? Like it's almost like I used this analogy in one of my reviews before, but aside from sometimes the bass kind of feeling like it's coming around the treble and the mids, here it's almost like the mids are trying to, get around the treble. So again, that resolution and what you're going to receive on the hearing end is really going to be dictated by volume. For some reason, you tweak that and you really start feeling things kind of go left and right. Now the bass, interesting, like the mids. It's subtle. It's more of a sub bass and it's stumpy, but it's not punchy. It's not rumbly or nothing. But again, whenever you kind of raise the volume, and again, application, genres, hip hop, R&B, whatever you might be listening to, it almost feels like the bass kind of takes a back seat. And that, again, is probably due to how they're trying to really push that treble and really make this more of a vocal listening type of experience. So, as the thumbnail says, if you are a vocal lover, these IEMs are for you. So overall, for music, there's definitely a place for this. There's definitely catalog and genres where I know for a fact, there's a lot of you in the comments that are always very focused on music. This could work for you, but with that caveat of if you're treble sensitive, if you feel like the treble's too sparkly or you don't like IEMs that kind of target that, these might not be for you. All right, so I can hear him on the roof. I can hear him below. I'll get away from here because I can hear that as well. So yeah, I can kind of hear the difference between roof and ground. I hear that as well. I hear him. And I can hear these mannequins back here as well. Yeah. I hear him moving back and forth, obviously, because I'm to the side. Oh, behind me. Can hear that. Can hear that. So interesting. Yeah, it's just the moment you start firing, it just really takes away from everything else. The mix kind of just is a little bit muddy. Yeah, this IEM is really detailed. The imaging, the sound stage, separation, but when it comes to the guns in this game and just kind of where they sit, because this is such a forward treble, very punchy mids type of IEM, and of course, have a nice grounded bass, it does take away from everything else. Now, I think where these excel at is music. So I would say for casual gaming, for maybe more story oriented single player type of games, I definitely think that this IEM works really well. I mean, you're gonna feel the environment, all that, but as far as first person shooters and getting pinpoint accuracy really being able to separate things and having that separation of what's high, what's low. I think when you're getting into firefights, it could be very difficult. So I could definitely recommend these for like casual gaming, story driven, first person solo type of games, or third person, or whatever type of like solo games, story games. But as far as first person shooters for like competitive play, or even, you know, just wanting to get all that, I think initially you'll get it, but as chaos erupts, it's going to be very difficult to kind of pinpoint and get what it is that you're looking for in an IEM for first person shooter. With that being said, overall, I think this IEM does have like a premium sound to it. All right, it is under $100. It's actually priced at approximately $90 US. Sometimes they have some sales, so just be on the lookout for that. I just think that for me specifically, it's not really targeted for me. This sound signature and what it's trying to achieve is not what I gravitate towards, but I know for a fact you guys have been in the comments. I've seen you in other communities. I've seen you online having these discussions. This is something for somebody. I know somebody's out there, whether it's K-pop, whether it's more vocal centric music or genres, this is going to work. And I'm going to tell you right now, just listening to like different albums and listening to different genres, I see where this fits. All right, now for my catalog, there's some hit and misses, but it's not a bad IEM at all. All right, it's just I'm very treble sensitive. I kind of like things a bit different, and this configuration is dope. I'm just glad that they're doing this and it's different. I haven't heard this in a very long time, and I don't mean to put this segment in here, Kiwi Ears. I love you. I know this is about you, but I want to kind of just compare. These kind of remind me of the Truth Here hexes, and I know I kind of said that earlier about the cable, but they kind of fall into that category for me. Slightly different sound signatures. They're kind of trying to do two different things, but accomplishing it as that kind of hybrid setup. And the hexes were a bit spicy for me in some areas and others not. And this is kind of what I'm getting. This is what it reminded me of. Again, no disrespect, Kiwi Ears, I love you, but that's kind of what it reminded me of. So if you have had those IEMs and you know where they fit, you know where they don't fit, that's kind of the mindset that I'm trying to get you at. And then for gaming, like I discussed, casual gaming, solo, story driven, cinematic, environmental, open world type of stuff, I definitely think this is going to do so well and sound so good for movies and things like that. But as far as like first person shooters, you know, I'm trying to hear everything. It just can get a little bit muddy, can get a little bit chaotic, and it's kind of hard to dictate and differentiate like where things are in the mix. So it's something I kind of want to throw out there. Obviously you kind of saw it from my discussion in the range, but overall really good IEM, $90 US. They're still kicking at that door and keeping it under 100. There's a lot of competition right now. I know you guys see it. There's IEMs coming out every week, if not every other week, and these are still kind of hanging around, doing a really good job. So if you like today's video, please like and subscribe. Huge shout out to Kiwi Ears. The product will be down below in the links. I get no kickbacks. This is all for Kiwi Ears, their Amazon and their kiwiears.com website. But I just wanted to share that with you, let you know what's going on there. Much love. Thanks for the support, and I hope you enjoyed today's video. I'll see you later. Peace.